Hey everyone, hopefully you can hear me better this time. Welcome to another show. This is Rufus Opus. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about a course I've put together. It's a system of planetary magic that's designed to restore your soul. It conjures up the different archangels of the planets. It helps deal with some of the consequences that we have to deal with when we go through traumatic events in life. Helps put us all together. Hey, how's it going? So I did this recording yesterday. I thought it was really good, but it turned out my audio was absolute crap, and I felt terrible about that. But I am hopefully doing better, and I'll try to listen to it before I load it this time. But anyway, I wanted to go over what it is that we're actually doing here in the course a little bit and talk about what it is, and I call it a course, but it's a series of rituals that you can do on your own. So I am doing a course, and I'm happy to talk. I'll be talking more about that later. But the system that I'm presenting here is a system of planetary magic that is. It's designed to help you get rid of the patterns of behavior that might be influencing your existence and your experiences in life now that are negative, that come out of the traumatic experiences that we go through. Specifically, it's a set of rituals that start in Saturn. It's a Saturn, Mars, and Jupiter rite that establishes, first of all, it cuts off the pain, cuts off the source of the pain, cuts off any ties between you and the traumatic event, so that you're not continuing to experience the wounding. You know, it's like if you're getting stabbed, you leave the scene of the crime and you stop getting wounded before you do anything else. First of all, the trauma has to stop before you can begin healing. So the Saturn rite is designed to stop any ongoing damages that you might be experiencing from that situation, even if it happened years and years ago. It's a matter of cutting off that experience and ending it once and for all. The next step is a Mars rite, which basically you put some muscle around you and some protection around you to keep yourself from getting dragged back into that situation, and to keep those forces from being able to impact your life going forward. Some traumatic events come out of relationships that you've had with someone who has children now as a result of your experiences. You have to deal with that person until those children are at least 18, and then on beyond that, you're likely to run into those people again. No matter what they did to you during the relationship, they continue to be your kids' parents. So that's sort of a pain to deal with that you can't really avoid. So one of the things that the Mars ritual does is it helps protect you, puts filters up around your sphere so that you don't get drawn back into their grief, that they can't keep working out whatever damages they worked out on you while you were together, even after you're apart, if obligations keep you in the same sphere, right? So the Mars ritual is to keep you from getting anything that drags you back into it. Also, like if you've ever been through a bad relationship, even if you don't have kids, if you've been through a bad breakup, all the friends take sides and they're like, you should say bad things about your ex, and your ex is saying bad things about you, and they'll tell you for sure, and all that stuff. And it's like, I don't really want to know all this stuff, but the Mars rite actually helps filter out the drama too in your life. It keeps people from trying to drag you back into a situation where you create more trauma as a result of trying to, or by accident when you're trying to get out of it. So the Jupiter rite comes next, and what that does is it kicks off the whole healing process, and it provides you with all the resources you need to actually fix everything, right? So like part of healing is you need to have the time and the luxury of time to actually be able to heal. If you have to go to work the next day, you're not going to have time to let that wound really get any better. So the Jupiter rite calls down resources, and it also it helps kick off the health part. Like in the Orphic hymn, it says one of the things that you ask for at the very end of the Orphic hymn is for my health and my necessary wealth, right? Health is part of what Jupiter provides. So basically these rites, what they do is they establish a sanctuary. They get you out of the pain, they get you in a safe place and protect you, and then they begin the healing process. So like imagine getting physically wounded and having to go to the hospital. All right, basically you've been wounded, the assailant has left the building, and you're not getting wounded anymore. You move over into the hospital situation, and there you can start getting treated. They clean up the wound, and then they stop any immediate damages, and then they work on long-term healing. So the first 3 rituals, you start it on a Saturday, the next Tuesday you do the Mars rite, and the next Thursday you do a Jupiter rite. So you're setting the scene for your entire healing process. I've got all these rituals. Like, I have samples of ways to do this that are modeled on my magical practice. But it's something you can do with any magical practice that you can tap into the forces that these spheres represent. It's not something that is tied to the Rufus Opus method of conjuring using Zeus, the all-in-all, and you have to do it this way or you're fucked. It's just planetary magic. It's just Saturn, Mars, Jupiter, the Sun, Venus, Mercury, and the Moon. That's it. Okay, anybody could do this with any system. 16th century conjure techniques. You can use the official Trithemian method. You can use Heptameron. You can use whatever the hell you want to. It is not. It doesn't matter. The value of this is that you can use these the chain of manifestation to manifest healing and health in your life. So that's what this is about. And the reason I put all this together is because this is magic I've been doing for years. I've got issues, and as a result of my issues, I often have to rebuild my life, and I'm going through all these like after I had a house fire, for example, it was a very traumatic event. I had to rebuild my life, right? So I did all this magic to put my shit back together, and that was great. And then I got a divorce, and I had to do magic to get my shit back together. And then I got in a relationship that ended, and I had to do magic to get my shit back together. And and I was an alcoholic for years. Haha, that worked great. But I mean, I was learning magic the whole time, apparently, and I kept learning how to do more and more magical things to fix the damages in my life that I was causing without really necessarily. I mean, I guess over years I was sort of working towards the treatment that I needed, but it took a while to get there. Anyway, where was I? Yes. So after those first 3 rites, you do a solar rite of renewal. This is where the actual alchemical process is kicked off. It's the key of the entire system of planetary magic. Course of rituals that heal you. The solar rite of renewal is where you go to the sun and you release all the negativity. You just beg for the sun to burn you up. It cleanses you, it purifies you, it returns you to your component elemental parts. It is the process of the great work. It's where the elements are refined, purified, and turned into their highest quality, highest potential vibration, and then the sun gives that back to you so that it can start to form you again into the person that you want to be without all the damages that had been in place before. It's basically like taking your soul, putting it in a fire, melting off all the crap, and then putting it back in so that it can heal and heal without all the negative toxins as part of it anymore, right? So it releases those things so that you're not carrying that baggage or whatever, that trauma, that damage around with you in your spirit anymore. And then after that, immediately after that, like you do that on a Sunday, and then the next Monday, you start rising through the spheres. You start in the sphere of the moon, and it's a very simple set of planetary rites. I've got a short form of the conjure script. It's really just, probably take 5 or 10 minutes. You just sit there, you say the words, you contemplate the thoughts, and then you go about your day. But for 2 weeks, you spend going through the moon and releasing your any negativity related to the sphere of the moon, illusions, glamours, any ideas you might have about the situation that are false, any misunderstandings about how that came into play in the first place. You release all of those lies that you've been told, all the deceits, all the negative aspects of the moon related to that situation. You release that so that you can begin to heal. You do that on the first Monday after you've done the solar rite. The following Wednesday, you do the same thing in Mercury. The following Friday, you do the same thing in Venus. The following Sunday, you do the same thing in the Sun, and so forth and so on, up through the spheres. It takes 2 weeks. It's every other day. doing this contemplation, and it's a release. It's based on the Corpus Hermeticum. It talks about how when you pass over to the other realm, you go up through the spheres and you release all the negative aspects of that. Based on that description, I put together these rituals that raise you up through the spheres. And again, they're just basic planetary magic. It's not anything special. You don't have to use the rituals I'm doing. You can design your own rituals if that's what you're into. I'm not telling you how to do things. But after you cleanse your 7 spheres on the way up, yeah, you need to repower yourself on the way back down. Trauma drains our power. Trauma perverts our abilities to create. People who've been wounded will, if you look at their art, they will carry that wound with them and express it in everything they've done. It's just one of those things about how it is. It's not great. It's just part of life, right? But when you go up through the 7 spheres, you release the negativity, and then you come back down through the 7 spheres. It gives you a chance to put all that back into place, right? And when you've been through a traumatic experience, when you get back on your feet and you start to look around, once you've dealt with all the pain and the suffering and the anxiety and the panic attacks and all that stuff, once you get yourself sort of close to being back to right with things, you find out that your life went to crap while you were sick, and you couldn't take care of yourself, right? Well, guess what? When you're not taking care of yourself, your life goes to crap. So when you come out of a traumatic experience, you've got to fix everything and replace everything you've lost, that you've destroyed or whatever along your path. It's like using the house fire as an example again. After the house was restored, and rebuilt, I still had to put all the crap back in it. I had to replace all the stuff that I lost. Insurance covered a lot. It was great. But I had to get the resources that I needed to fill in the rest of the house, because the insurance only replaced what I had before, and a portion of that, like a percentage of it. So I had to go out and get all new stuff, and I had to have a job to pay for that. I had to have resources. I had to have time to go out and shop. I had to have the patience, the luxury of patience to deal with all that stuff for my kids and my ex and all that crap at the same time. It was hard. So having these 7 spheres empowered, renewing your initiations, renewing that bestowment of powers that you receive in the 7 spheres. Like if you've read the 7 Spheres book, basically I'm telling you to go through and establish your kingdom, right? Establish yourself with the powers that you need to establish your kingdom. So do the 7 spheres right is the last section of the recovery portion of the class. So let me show you the PDF, the way I've got this set up. So basically I wrote down this whole process from beginning to end, everything you need to do. I put together some context text. Like there's information in the PDF that kind of sets the tone for how this all works and how I think it all works. And it's designed so that somebody who doesn't know how to do magic or isn't real familiar with it can pick up this PDF and have everything they need to get started, and sort of all the ideas that they need to kind of put it to work for them in their favor. If you've read if you've seen my videos on the great work and I don't remember what the other one was, but basically like how I think Zeus works and all that stuff. Like if you look at my Zeus video and my great work video, you'll basically have the cosmology that I work with in mind pretty much. But I talk a little bit about the chain of manifestation, and I explain the order of the planets and all that stuff. It's high level stuff. If you're already a magician, you can skim through it and be like, whatever. If you're not a magician, it provides you with enough information to be able to be effective using the rituals that I present in the book, booklet, PDF, whatever. It's here. I'll go ahead and show you this so you can take a look at it. Here we go. All right. So restoring my soul, right? So this is the whole outline. It's a rather large, a lot of work went into this one. Okay, so yeah, I'm skimming through it. You can kind of see sort of what all it covers. I talked a little bit about the rites already, but yeah, so So the first thing that I should have said in this video too is that, this is not going to cure your problems. This is a method of assisting you get to health. It augments your therapy. It augments your treatment that is happening with a real professional, right? This is in addition to that. One of the things that a lot of people have a hard time figuring out about magic is that it's not a wish machine where they do all the work for you. It's you stack the odds in your favor, but you still have to do the work. It's just as you're doing your day, everybody loves you and thinks you're great. That's the only benefit it has to offer. Let's see. Anyway, if you go through this PDF, you will see that it's got all this information. So yeah, so there's the shining bolt, how magic works, or how I think it works, the ritual that I work with, what the ritual looks like, what tools you need, and all that stuff. Sort of a high level overview of what the ritual is how it goes. Here's the part where it talks about the actual process of recovery. There's the Saturn rite I was talking about, the Mars rite, Jupiter rite, and then here's recovering your spark, the solar rite of renewal, and so forth and so on. So there's Salve Coagula, work your way up through the spheres to dissolve things, and Coagula is working your way back down through the spheres. It's got all the information you need. There's the table of practice. Talks about the scrying medium, the incense that you need. Here's all the laments of the archangels and the altar layout and your conjure script. Here's the full script. You can actually just print this off and print off the Orphic hymns when the Orphic hymns need to be done, and put those in your binder here at the right place, and just do the ritual from beginning to end using that. Here's the short form script for the rising through the spheres. Much simpler version. It's just you just sit there and I think you use a tea light candle and all that stuff. It's simple, direct, and easy. We've got each of the Orphic hymns that you might need. And I also have, so the third part of all of this is getting your shit back together, and it's about using the different types of talismans and practices and stuff like that. So anyway, so this system basically creates everything you need to get back on your feet magically on the occult side of things. It doesn't fix your it doesn't make up or take the place of actual therapy and any treatment that you need and actual medical science. It's not replacing that, but as everything else in the occult, it definitely is an influence that can aid in your healing process. The process of recovery is a years-long effort, and this is a method of helping it work out. So if you wanted to participate in this ritual, it's very simple. I've got, here we go. Okay, so we've got a free PDF. It's available on my website. The link is in the comments below. And then there's also the a live class I'm going to do. It's 4 sessions. It basically goes over the PDF. It's not more information. I guess it's maybe a little more conversation around each of the topics, but it's not necessary for you to do this work effectively. It's really just, if you want to hear me talk about it more, I'm going to talk about it more in a class. The live class is $75. I'm going to also record those, and then I'm going to make those available on my Academia Hermetica site as recordings for $50 each. I don't know, maybe it's 25. I don't want this to be something that is like cost prohibitive. I think it's beneficial to people. The free version is out there. The classes might inform you a little bit more and help you understand things if you're not like real secure in your occult practices. Or if you want to ask me questions, that's a perfect place to do it live. It'll be beneficial. I think people will like it. And then the other option I'm offering people is rituals done on your behalf. So I can do these rituals on people's behalf. It is not as effective. You're supposed to do it yourself. It's designed for you. The only reason I'm offering this is because I know everybody's going to ask for it. Not everybody, but there are some magicians who just don't trust themselves, and they always feel more comfortable if I've done the rituals for them and they don't mind spending the money. I don't think it is nearly as effective. I can't set you up for success the way you can. So don't expect it to work that way, but I'm definitely here to help people out if they feel like it's needed. So that's what that is. Real quick, the 4 courses. The first course is going to be overview and intro about trauma and recovery and how magic helps. The second course is going to be about stopping the pain, the Saturn, Mars, and Jupiter rite that I talked about. The third lesson is recovering your spark. That's where you go up through the spheres. You do the solar rite of renewal first, and then you go up through the spheres, and then back down through the spheres. And then the fourth is just re-engagement, like ways to actually re-engage with the rest of existence as an empowered magician, right? And this is just some advice. That's all it turns out to be, is like things I do that seem to help me be successful in the things that I'm trying to do in life. So that's it in a nutshell. I hope that this recording works out a lot better than the previous one did. Thanks a lot for dropping in. I appreciate you very much. Again, all the links are in the bottom. If you've been through a traumatic experience in your life that is impacting you today, please at least read the PDF. It might inspire you in your magical work to do some transformative things that cleanse out the effects that are impacting your ability to really thrive and have a good time in life. All right. So anyway, hope it helps. Have a good one. Take care.